Yeah, so we in there like swimwear. You can, what, you're watching it on the laptop?
Says waiting.
Oh, okay. Well, delay, delay in the action. But yeah, damn. Hold on, let's get it together. Get it together. All right. Well, yo, yo, yo. What up, world? What up, peoples and tweeples out there? It's your boy T-Broski, and this is Bros Talk. And this is Bros Talk Live, actually. We got the homie, the player, my brother Corey from KBA Works. So check him out too. Hey man, what up?
Bro, I have not moved yet. There we go. It finally moved.
I would hate to say your connection's bad, but I would have to say your connection's bad.
Well, then again, I am going off my lap or my computer, so we'll see.
It'd be like one of the posts, like where you just like if I did a picture, you just stuck there.
The whole time I was talking, or you were talking, it was just me stagnant.
Hey, but we'll jump right into it. Obviously this live's about, if you read the caption or the title, you know what this live's about. So respectfully, me and Corey have these talks often off camera, a couple times on camera about certain things, and we try to figure out how to respectfully come up with a conversation about it. And then we miss opportunities because schedules don't match and stuff like that. But uh, we're here now to discuss what's going on. So recently, if you're watching this and under seeing what's going on in the world, you would understand that Iran and Israel are having conflicts. Currently, they're at a ceasefire, but it all started with conflict. We're not going to go date it back all the way years and years, but from the time that the U.S., I would say, some people say impose their will. Because let's say this: do you think that the U.S. oversteps their boundaries when it comes down to world peace or world domination, as some people might put it? But who's the United States dictate who and what? Like who's the United States to dictate that type of, like, you can't tell me what's best for my country. This isn't even your country. So how are you going to dictate what I can do, how I can do, what can go on in my country when this isn't like, we abide by different laws, different rules.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what I mean. Sometimes I think America's right in some of the shit they do, and sometimes I think they're kind of overstepping their bounds. Um, it just depends on the situation. In this one, I completely agree. I think it's something we should have done for a while. So I don't have a problem with this one because this isn't necessarily, hey, this is what you can do in your country because we care about what you do in your country. It's more like this is what you can do in your country because if we let you do more, that's an existential threat to our living, and then we can't tolerate that. So
Well, and recently, where do you think the problem arose? And when you say America did right, what do you think that they did right?
and launching the attack to neutralize the different nuclear facilities. I think that was the right decision. Um, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna get us dragged into World War III." It's like, for one, no countries are backing Iran. Like everyone was like, "Oh, Russia might." Russia was like, "I'm not doing that." So it just the whole World War III thing I thought was a little strong, um, especially when you think of the fact that the alternate is almost a guaranteed World War III, or at least a complete killing of a lot of people if you let Iran get this nuclear weapon because they're going to use it for some reason. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I like I said, since it was for the best interest of America, Israel, really the whole world, because what Iran is likely to do is give that weapon to the Houthis or whatever proxy that they have to use it themselves. You know,
Comes down to how people view your country. So are they wrong for trying to get that capability when there's other countries that have the capability of doing that?
absolutely, they're the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Like I hear what you're saying. Like, yeah, you could say it's an assumption. It's a pretty safe assumption to assume that Iran is going to use these weapons in some way. And they keep saying, oh, it's just for our civilian use. Has nothing to do with making a weapon. Well, there's no reason past 30% enrichment of uranium for you to use it in a civilian application. You know what I'm saying? Like it just there isn't anything that you can use it past 30% other than for weapons. And what happened is they hit that 60%, and it came out in a report that they've got a huge amount, like enough to make like six nuclear weapons, enough to make like six nuclear weapons. And so it's like, yeah, we can't let that happen. Oh no, he disappeared.
6 nuclear weapons, that's definitely an issue. Having the ability to create them, uh, as you say, for that country based off of how they operate and what they normally do when they're or who they align with. I'm not even gonna say politically, but who they align with, period, definitely has an issue. Now, one thing I will say is I would go as far as to say on record, it's documented that they support a lot of terroristic groups. One of them being Hamas, right? Um, but that's neither here nor there. That's only to say that they're aligning themselves with enemies to our country. So in thought process, what you're saying is allowing them to get a nuclear capabilities or nuclear warhead, they're going to give it off to a country or a entity, a regime, whatever, that really don't give a fuck and they'll shoot that shit off, right? Understandable. I'll say that understandable. Um, the
No, don't get me
bomb,
wrong. They might use it themselves. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
that's why I
They've
say
been
that's
chanting death to Israel and death to America for a long ass time. Like they don't not mean that shit.
if that's disrespect. I don't. One thing, side note, like people from other countries, it's just respect to call them like excellency or whatever like that. Like, but I'm saying like in their country, like okay, well that guy, they're I think he's called a supreme leader. I want to say, but he came out and said that "Death to America" chant or that saying that wasn't necessarily he didn't say he said that they don't hate all Americans. It's not that we hate all Americans. It's just the regime, Donald Trump. He named a couple other people that he was talking about. So when he said these things, so like when you say they've been chanting this for a long time, maybe it's just to the degree of the people that we have in power that are, it's not like we're gonna shoot a nuke to you guys. But I think it's like safe to say that If you got the ability to have a nuke, I should have the ability to have a nuke too. Right? That's all I that's the for me, that's all I say in that regard. Granted, I understand why America does why it does to a certain extent, which goes to the bombing. A lot of people felt like that was a uh I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't think it was like a direct, like, oh, they're gonna do this and it's World War III, like it's gonna happen that day. Like that was like that was a pivotal day. I don't think that was it was that big of an issue. But one of the opposing views that I heard was like it could have started World War III. Um,
All right, there we go. Sorry, I the last like 30 seconds, my shit was not. I ain't hear nothing.
oh damn. Okay. So pretty much what do you think about the bombing of America, U.S. bombing in Iran are trying to take out their facilities, their nuclear facilities, uh, and all that.
You know what I'm saying? So like to say Iran hasn't ever done anything to us, like that's just an incorrect statement. Um, and at the end of the day, I'm sorry, we've told you. First of all, a lot of people forget the I don't remember the exact name, but it's the treaty that everyone signed on, including Iran, saying that hey, we're not going to build any nuclear weapons and we're not going to try to. It's a non-nuclear proliferation act or some shit like that. And so it's like, cool. That's what everyone agreed to. All of a sudden now Iran is doing more, and the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Agency, Energy, I don't know, some shit along those lines. They basically called them out, and that's shortly around where Israel was like, you know what, they're not following these rules. They've broken these rules time and time again. So it's like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna go here with it because we have to think of ourselves surviving too. And that's something that honestly no one in the world wants is a nuclear capable Iran. And if they want to say it's for oh, it's just for civilian infrastructures, cool, then you don't need it at 60%. You need it at 30% maximum. So why do you have 60%? And I read a report the other day where they found like 84.7% enriched uranium, which is just under the threshold for a bomb. So I don't know. To me, it's in the best interest of the entire world, not necessarily just America or Israel. Not to have a country that is a huge sponsor of terror as the country that has a nuclear bomb. It's that doesn't necessarily mean that like to an extent I get it. They're like, hey, they got nukes, we want to have nukes, but you also signed that agreement way back in I think it was 89 or something like that. Saying that you wouldn't do this, and you're taking steps towards doing that. You've broken the agreement. You're not.
America, like, why do y'all as Americans, us as Americans, whatever, feel like we have the ability to dictate NATO, whoever, on what I can do as a country? If I want to build up my uranium, so what? Like if I have what is the biggest threat? Somebody having something or somebody shooting it? I think that the shooting it would be more of a threat than it would be to have it, right? Like just to say I have something is just saying I have it doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna use it. Now, when the chemical attack was happening, that's you can kind of chalk that up to like, hey man, they might use some stuff like that, but in the reality of it, like you don't know some like you know that there's a superpower out there that has the ability to flatten you or at least hurt you in a major sense. You need some type of power, and every other country dictates if I'm gonna be able to have this or use this or whatever like that. Like that's the part where for me, again, I don't agree with them. I don't agree with the a lot of stuff that they do, but we how far does it go that we can dictate what they can and cannot do? And then if they're making advancements in their country, like whether it is nuclear, um, like you said, like the percentage wise, let's break down the percentage wise. So if you're saying 30% um versus 84.7%, what's the difference? What can I do with 30% that I can't do? Or what can I do with 84.7% that I can't do with 30%? What not? Hmm.
Nuclear weapon very soon, like months. You're gonna have a weapon, But if you're still at 30%, that's gonna be a long fucking time. Like back in, I think it was like 2005, Israel, and I know a lot of people hate Israel, but they do some really cool shit. Um, they fucking found a way to infiltrate this base, and they fucking uploaded a worm, which basically falsified uh, results coming back from all these tests. So it made Iran think that all these tests were passing. And so they're thinking like, holy shit, we're just fucking gliding right through. And it wasn't until like I think 2010, and apparently the United States was in on it too. But and then like 2010, they found out about it, and they had to basically go back 5 years because all that information was all corrupted and fucked up because of the worm. And so like, and then with Israel doing the airstrikes, you know, they killed, I think, 9 out of 10 of the top, nuclear scientists in the country,
Hmm.
and then they killed a bunch of the same, generals, and how they were able to do that is they found out what all their routines are, what happens if there's airstrikes, where do all these people go, and so they found the bunkers that they went to, and
Hmm.
then they bombed those bunkers and killed all those people, like, to me, like, all the reports there's just been a lot of reports coming out saying, "Oh, it's only set it back, like, a couple months." Like, if you I don't know, that just seems a little ridiculous to me because you're talking like so many top scientists gone. Like, yeah, of course you can bring more scientists into it, but it's just I don't remember how many decades of experience they took out. It definitely set it back. And then the leak, to kind of get off guard, but there was a leak from the Pentagon, or off topic. There was a leak from the Pentagon saying that basically these strikes didn't do what Trump said they did, where they'd obliterated it. And maybe it didn't. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think anyone will know until they actually get in there and see what it's like. Um, but the thing is everyone was like, "Oh, this intelligence report from the Pentagon says that we didn't do it, so we didn't do it." And it's like, okay, y'all, like, think about all the other leaks that we've had. We had a leak back in the sometime when Biden was president. I think it was 21, where they were saying that Russia was paying Afghanistanis to like kill American soldiers and stuff like that. Like, that it wasn't true, but it was the same exact thing, because usually what happens is you get someone in the Pentagon, usually a lower level employee, like a kind of guy who's maybe just like pushing shit around, and he sees something, and so he pumps something out that kind of goes with what he's saying, but like, the intelligence report had like a low confidence rating on it. Like, they basically said, yeah, it's probably not true, or it may not be true. We don't really know. And then since then they've done subsequent flyovers where now they're thinking that the damage was actually a little bit more extensive than what the first photo showed. So I don't know. To me, like, it'll be a while until we actually know how effective the strikes were. But
I mean, we'll say
I,
that.
I
So we both agree with this. So for me, military tactic wise, um, to eliminate somebody, if you haven't figured out something and you need said person to figure that out, and I get rid of that person, I think that's a great military tactic. So me understanding that part of things, to attack first to a certain degree to eliminate certain things. Like if you know anything about war, one of the first places that we attack is like we're going to take out your defenses towards us. So like blowing up your runways, blowing up your city runways or streets or whatever, like eliminating certain tactics that you could be able to use where you got a long strip of ground to fly off of any type of plane. We're gonna eliminate that, blow up your planes, things like that. So I understand the tactic, right? Um, However much percentage got destroyed or not got destroyed, we do understand that a lot of their top scientists was killed in an attack, right? Uh, do you think that everything ceases with those guys? Like you don't think that the information was passed on to a successor or because you don't think that they understood that they were in a time of dire times for them. Like, hey man, I got a stash. Like me trying to hide my information because of financial gain is out the window. This is all political for them. This is all some type of it's bigger than money for them. I'm not gonna have the secret and not give it to my country because of I want more money. Like we have to do this to protect ourselves, right? At this point in time. So you don't think that they gave this information off and that somebody else is going to be able to continue the work?
And you take 9 of them who have all been there collectively, like, let's say, almost 200 years. Like, yeah, you can bring someone in and they'll be able to read your notes and be like, "Okay, I see what you did here." Um, but it's still gonna take some time to, get back up to that level. You know what I mean? So that alone, I think, puts them back quite a bit. And then, like, centrifuges, where what they use to enrich the uranium, I'm pretty sure, um, they're very, like, vibration sensitive. So when you have, what was it, 8? I think they dropped 8 of those bombs on one spot. When you got 8 of them dropping like in the same area, there's going to be a lot of vibration. Even if it doesn't go all the way through, it's going to fuck up the centrifuges. And replacing them isn't anything that's going to be super quick to do. So I don't know. It's sometimes I just think it's weird. Sometimes I think like some people are almost like hoping that it like failed, almost, whether it's just because it was Trump who did it or whatever the case, but it's just like, no, we should all hope that it worked, because if not, then we just pissed them off for no reason, right? So yeah, I definitely.
That we didn't just destroy a building. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't an infrastructure that we just destroyed. This is important information. Like you said, a centrifuge is something that is not just going to be restored overnight. Even if we didn't directly impact it, there is an impact to it. Whether it's getting to that equipment, cleaning up around to make sure that equipment is safe to be utilized again, whatever it is, there's an impact of it. Um, why do you think people play the word game? Why do you think it's semantics more than anything when it comes down to we totally what do you say, we obliterated it, it's out of here, it's gone, um, versus me telling you, well, it's actually 42% gone. But we hit him so hard, and we hit him at a point where the 42% of the 100%, that's the crucial part. So we set them back who knows how many months that they can't even move forward because they got to clean up everything and get everything back right to be able to start again, right? So why is it semantics, do you think, so much when it comes down to this particular, I didn't say this particular situation, but why do you think people use the semantics so much? Wordplay. Maybe.
it's only 40%, destroyed, that's a loss. Like that's a big issue for us because we didn't wipe out their nuclear programs. They're going to be able to restart soon. And the whole goal of this is basically to say, yeah, you're never going to do this ever again. Like you don't have the capability of doing it ever again. That's what the goal of these strikes are. So I think for Trump, he's always it's either 100 or nothing. Like so I feel like he's like, oh, a completely complete success. And I really hope it was. Because like I said, otherwise I think we just, made a mistake. Um, and to be honest, when they pulled out, like ended the war before they knew what was going on, like what the status was, it kind of surprised me, especially Israel, because you don't know if you won yet. The whole reason Israel went to war with them was because of their nuclear program. So if you didn't wipe it out, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I know a lot of people were hoping for like a regime change. Trump said that's not what he's interested in. I think secretly he would love to not have the Ayatollah there. Uh, but at the end of the day, I think Iranian citizens themselves are going to revolt and overthrow their government sometime. Um, right. They're having women that, because it's such a wonderful country, they got women that are being murdered for, showing a portion of their face they're not supposed to, or having their hijab on wrong or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, yo, this I don't understand why all of a sudden, and I don't know, maybe like I said, it's because it's the Trump effect or whatever, but it's just like I don't understand why so many people are basically like borderline rooting for this to fail, and then like acting like Iran is just this innocent, like well-to-do country. Like if we would just leave them alone, then they would just no, like they would just kill us if we let them do what they want. That's exactly what they would do. They've been doing it for decades. You know what I'm saying?
The narrative that I'm getting, that people wanted to fail or wanted it to fail, the attack or nothing like that. I think uh, people hold him to a certain line, to a certain degree where he says things. And like you can't get on TV and say things and then somebody can prove it differently. Like you can't say we obliterated them and then I can do whatever research and find out that no, it didn't obliterate. There's 7 buildings over there that's still standing. Like literally. You know what I mean? Like you said they were obliterated. Obliterated means that it's completely flattened. It's over. Everything's gone. I mean, it's non-existent. I wouldn't even say knock them off the map. I would just say obliterated. You know that there was something here at one point in time. It's over. It's gone. He said these things. So if you're saying these things and somebody else can prove that what you said is incorrect or a lie, then I think that's where the American people have a problem with. Like that's where they have an issue with, or something like that, is because you're flat out lying. Like that's what the problem is. You're lying. So it's not a Trumpism or a uh like Trump's a problem or nothing. It's he's lying about stuff. Now why lie? That's the bigger question. Why lie? And this, I mean, I think he lies a lot, but in this particular situation, he said it was obliterated. He said it was obliterated, right? But if I'm not mistaken, they dropped 15. Was it 15,000 pound bombs? 15, 30,000 pound bombs. Okay, um, 15, 30 pounds, 30 30 whatever. They dropped the motherfuckers, right? Cool. You don't think that that would destroy some shit? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no, I was saying you don't think that would destroy. I was sitting there. You don't think that would just destroy something? Okay, but do you think that I'm gonna create nuclear or try to get my nuclear science development expanded all in the same, like, I'm not gonna do everything in the same building. Like they're obliterated and they're like being proven that that's I can say proven, I can say proven, right? But if their structure's still standing, then that's where I think everybody has a problem with, not necessarily the attack or the results of it. And but you said that you feel like if it didn't mess them up, then what was it for?
Their ability to ever make a nuclear weapon, like destroy all the uranium, all the centrifuges, everything. That's the whole purpose of us doing it. And if we can't do that, then we failed and we should have never done it to begin with. Um, my personal opinion, like that's why I said I was kind of surprised that they ended it when they did without knowing if what happened was a success. Because, like I said, these buildings are buried in a mountain. So yeah, you see the impact craters where the bombs went through the hole, but you don't see anything else. You don't know if they actually went deep enough and penetrated the concrete and blew up the inside of this bunker, or if they blew up inside the mountain, or what happened. Like, we just don't know. So for Trump to get out there and say we completely obliterated it, maybe that's right. Hopefully it's right. But at this point in time, we don't really know. And then, like I said, you have these leaks that come out where people are like, oh, well, maybe we didn't do it. And that starts throwing doubt on it. And then, Trump, he always doubles down whether he's right or wrong. You can guarantee he's going to be like, no, that's what I said. That's what it is. And like I said, I don't think there's a way that we know that until we actually send people in there to go inspect. And Iran's already said that they're not going to allow them to come inspect. So that's not going to happen.
Nice to have it, right? So we can do it the proper way, so it make it easier. But we don't really need anybody's. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need your approval. If I want to find out about something, that's one thing I will say about us as a country. Like, we are supreme when it comes down to what COINTELPRO, espionage. Like, we can do some shit, and with all that shit that we can do, reconnaissance is up there. Like, we can go find. You don't think that we have boots on ground in Iran already? You don't think that? Now when I say okay, you're right. Okay, I would say, uh, let me not say that. There's forces that are far beyond what we comprehend as just regular citizens in the state of our country or whatever, right? Uh, there's black forces where not black like black people, but like on the books they're black. You know what I mean? Like they're non-existent. Certain things that have to happen in order for us to keep our status where we are, we have the ability to execute those things. And I say that to say, if we wanted to go find those pictures, or if we wanted to get pictures of knowledge or whatever, we can do it. So like them saying, "Oh no, you're not going to be able to do it," that's just, I mean, you can try to throw a wrench in the plan, but we're going to get the information. Um, so then it jumps to the peace treaty. Uh, Who violated the peace treaty first? The one that Trump said he worked out. Trump said it was Iran. He said it was Iran. They shot a dud and it didn't hit anything. It didn't blow up. It just landed somewhere. And then obviously Israel took that as a break and they shot back. Um, I do you I don't fault them for that. I say that.
Nothing. So you don't know. You don't. I'm just saying you don't know if it was meant.
All it happened. It wasn't a like if they could have made it land, they damn sure would have. It wouldn't have been like a damn. Oh, I didn't think it was. Well, let's just play around like that. Would I don't think that one was going on at all. Yeah, now I don't think that was going on, but not even on the level of their weapons are outdated. It's just, bro, there's a hey man, this is not supposed to happen. You do this. I take that as a direct slap in the face to this peace treaty that was set up, ceasefire, right? That was set up. I take that as a direct slap in the face. So I have one or two choices. I can conversate or retaliate. I'm gonna retaliate. I'm gonna retaliate. Because again, if you would have had to, if you wasn't dated or whatever, you would have made it all the way there. And Trump's response was he's mad at them for retaliate. Like their weapons shouldn't have made it to where their when they shot off their missiles and it landed in Iran or wherever. I mean, I forget the city, but wherever it landed, I was whatever. But Tehran, is it Tehran? Yeah. When it landed, now he's acting like they're wrong for doing that. Like, no, like my weapons work. Theirs didn't. After you clearly said that that there was a ceasefire set up. They landed. They shot first. I retaliated. Now I'm the bad guy. No, I'm not the bad guy for that. I'm not the bad guy at all. At all for that. You know what I mean? And that's what for me. Like I don't like that. Like you can't poke a bear or not even a bear. You can't slap me and then or do you can't do something to me and then tell me how to react to what you did to me. If I feel like jumping out the window, then I'm gonna jump out the window. Simple as that. Man, you stepped on my shoe. All right, cool. I'm gonna slam you on your head. I feel like that's equal because that's the type of retaliation I chose to come with, right? But do you think that they was wrong for that for engaging back, or should they have just been like, oh man, it didn't make it nowhere. Everybody was safe.
So just because it hit in the middle of a field and didn't hurt nobody doesn't mean the intent to hurt somebody wasn't there. So at the end of the day, these are my people. This is my country. You're trying to hurt people in my country, and I'm not going to tolerate that. So yeah, I'm gonna retaliate. And my shit is a lot better than yours, and you don't have air defenses anymore because I wiped them out 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking bomb you. Like what? Yeah, I completely agree. I think Trump was looking at it like their bomb didn't do anything, so you shouldn't have reacted. And I disagree with that. Like that's not how real life works. You can't like, all right, bro, we're done fighting, and then he slaps you one last time, and you're like, good one, good one. Like, no, you got to start fighting again. You know what I mean? So I don't have no what's the word I'm looking for.
Okay, what do you think is going to happen from the peace treaty? Obviously, they're going to have negotiations or talks or whatever. There's never, there's never going to be a Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's what it is. I guess there's no for me, I don't think that there will ever be peace. I think there will be a line that's drawn in the sand that's like, as long as you don't do this and don't do that, um, then we'll be good to go. But I will say this: AI is crazy, and the ability to fake somebody out is real. So, like in our day and age, they could draw that line in the sand, and somebody could just be on some bullshit and just make some shit, and then now it's a whole problem. But outside of that, what do you think the ceasefire is going to do, or what do you think comes from the ceasefire?
We don't have those bombs, but it's in your best interest to get rid of those bombs too, because we don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons. And I don't know. To me, it's also, kind of a response of like 10 years of not probably like almost 20 years of appeasing Iran and trying to be like, well, we don't want you to do this, but I guess we'll let you a little bit. And it's just they keep giving them leniencies and freeway, and it's like no. And now it got to the point where it's like, okay, they're kind of like on this edge where they're about to have it. We got to do something, and we can't talk about it anymore because they're not. The Ayatollah basically was pretty much telling Trump like you're gonna do what I want you to do, and that's not gonna work for Trump. So as far as the U.S. was concerned, Iran wasn't trying to negotiate, and so Trump was like, "You got this many days," and right on the last day is when Israel attacked, and then Trump said, "You got 2 weeks before we do something," and then they didn't do anything. So I think he did it early at like 11 days is when we bombed Iran, and it was funny the amount of people that I kept arguing. They're like, "Oh, if you support this, then you need to go, put them boots on and you go be on the ground." And I was like, "Why are we gonna have boots on the ground in Iran?" And they're like, "To do this," and I'm like, "No, like we're not doing." And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's out of the possibility, but if you know Trump and the type of politics that he represents, that is the very last thing that dude is going to do. He doesn't believe in nation building. He doesn't want to nation build. That's why he stopped the whole fucking talk about overthrowing their regime. He knows that they're a bad regime, but he's not trying to put America in another 20-year spot where they're forced to nation build this country. Just not going to do it. And that's what I was trying to tell people. Like, there's no reason to think that we're going to have boots on the ground. Is it a possibility? Of course. I mean, it's always a possibility if you want to think about it like that. But there's really no reason. We just wanted their nuclear shit destroyed. So we dropped bombs, and that's all we're gonna do. And then sure enough, 3, 4 days later, ceasefire, everything's done, and that's all that we did. And then the funny thing about it is the Ayatollah came out and he said that they won the war. He said that they made Israel submit to their power and made America scared and back off and all that stuff. And the reason I bring that up is because so many people are like, oh, well, Iran said this, this, and this. Iran said the nuclear weapons aren't this. And I don't give a fuck what Iran said. Like, them motherfuckers lie all the time. They don't ever say anything true. So why would you ever spend any time giving relativity to what the government of Iran says? Um, they're very much
Because that's
propagandists.
that's information that's coming from them. It's
But they're
pertinent.
propagandists. They're not gonna release they're like China. They're not going to release any information that makes them look bad. They're like North Korea. They're never going to say, "Hey, this is we lost X, Y, and Z." They're just gonna be like, "No, we didn't lose X, Y, and Z. We scuttled them and destroyed them ourselves as a way to show our power to America," or something like that. Like they always twist it. And so like I don't understand why people are like, "Oh, well, you gotta believe Iran when they say this." Like, no, you don't. They don't ever tell the truth to anyone. So I don't understand and I don't know. It's just weird to me.
Well, in that same breath, well, see, so like you have to understand that in a game of chess, so to speak, or poker, like you sometimes you have to bluff. Sometimes you have to lie. Sometimes you have to withhold information or let people think a certain type of thing um, to have the upper hand. So, like, if your intelligence now, granted, I don't think that we're falling as a country. I don't think that our intelligence is lacking at any point. So, saying that to say that whatever information is being told in the media or being circulated on social media or whatever like that, I think as a country we know what's going on. Um, Whether that information is decimated to everybody, I don't think that it should be, but you get your little trinkets from there, or you might get your little uh, understanding from just following the situation. But I think that we're well versed in what's going on. I don't think nothing hits us as a surprise as a country, right? But in the same breath, we understand that displaying certain, like Trump saying that it's obliterated. And to people, they say, oh, it's not obliterated. Cool. Go ahead and believe that. You know what I mean? Like they know and we know both what's really going on. So whether it is obliterated or it's not obliterated, I said that that's what it is. That's what's going to be happening. Same thing with Iran. Like they said it. Why would they be lying? They might be lying just to make it seem like it's not as bad as it is, or they might be lying to make it seem like it is bad as it is. So we won't really know the truth of a lot of stuff until later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's the caveat to that is somebody that's no, I wouldn't say arguing up and down, but like somebody that has a stance against what you're saying, they might be accurate in their information. We just have to wait till that information actually comes out and we find out what is the standings behind it. I will say this: if as many missiles as Iran shot originally, uh, to take their loss to their nuclear program like they did, um, for us to hit them like we did as a country and still be on the side of the ceasefire, I will say this: I think we hurt them a lot more than what a lot of people might want to. Fuck the pictures. You know what I mean? Like I said, they know just like we know what really happened. I think we hit them a lot harder than what a lot of people might think we did, but only time will tell. You know what I mean? Only time will tell will who did what, how it actually turned out. But I definitely think that you don't you don't you don't talk as much shit as they did, and then uh, for lack of better words, bend over and then act
Say
like it's
everything.
cool.
See, and to an extent, I agree with that. The only caveat that I'll put on it is I don't think Iran really gives a fuck whether we're technically at war or not. So it's almost in their best interest to make you think that we're not at war, so they can,
That's what I'm saying.
recuperate.
You
And then,
can't make us think that. Like, our intelligence is so thorough that you can't trick us. Like there's no trickery to us. We know what's gonna happen. We have intel everywhere. So that information that whatever you think that you're gonna like to the mainstream media or to the politic followers, whatever. Yeah, they may think that, oh man, everything's cool. But if it's war, we know, trust me, and we'll do. Just like Trump said, they think they're hiding, like they think that they're hiding their supreme leader. We know exactly where he is. There's a reason why he can say these type of things. I'll say this: I don't think that dude bullshits a lot. I don't think he has it in his body to bullshit like that. Like there's certain like tactics where I want to win. I
Yeah.
think he's that guy. Like if I got you, I got you. I'm not even about to bullshit with you. You play your card how you want to play it. But when I got you, I got you. And I have no problem telling you, I got you. And he told you, I got you. I can fuck y'all over right now, but I'm not. For whatever reason, I'm not going to. And I don't think he's a bullshitter. So uh I just don't me personally, I don't think that they have I didn't say the wherewithal, but I think they're
Ability.
smart enough to understand that like you can't trick us. So like everything you would have to literally surprise attack. And that
Yeah.
surprise attack has been quote unquote somewhat eliminated when it comes down to taking away their nuclear capabilities.
Well, yeah, that
Because one
and
thing I will say,
go ahead.
no, I was about to say the hypersonic missiles was crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I think they. The problem is though is by the reports they don't have a lot of them left. They don't have a lot of missiles in general left because they just sent so many of them at Israel. I think the last report I saw said like 1,400 at the most, which I mean may sound like a lot, but it's really not. Um, but what was interesting, I thought, was like I said. Iran was looking for help from the Houthis. They were looking
mm,
for help from all their little proxies, Hezbollah, and basically Hezbollah and all them were like, no, we're not helping you because you, on your behest, we got into this war with Israel, and you've been letting us get fucking murdered. You ain't been helping us at all, so we're not gonna help you. And so that's what all his little proxy groups said. Well, maybe not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And that's why Iran all of a sudden became like this loner. Like no one was Russia turned them down. Like no, we're not helping you. Uh, so I think that mixed with the fact that I mean, with a country like Iran, and I don't mean this in a mean way. It's just with their capabilities versus ours, there's just nothing you can do. Like we flew across the world and bombed you. And you never saw us. You had no idea what was happening until it was over.
yeah.
So then that's never going to happen on the other side, outside of what you said, like a terrorist attack, and which also goes to my reasoning of why we don't I want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, is because that's like their default terrorist attacks, and we just don't want a fucking nuclear weapon with a group of terrorists who are going to use it however they want to. It's just not the best thing. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I definitely think it was for the best. I just hope that it worked because if it didn't, then like I said, it was just completely pointless. And now we've got it to a point where I don't know if we're ever going to find out again. Because earlier you said, oh, if we want to, we'll send troops or we'll send people in there and check it out. I bet you there would be more of an uproar or a bigger issue with us doing that than bombing them. Like we bombed
But
them,
see,
it's
when I
over.
say I don't mean
But for us to put people in there to do an
first
inspection,
calves going to Iran. No, it's covertly.
but you can't. I don't know. Well, maybe you can. I don't know. I won't say I know enough
This
about
is
it, but
covertly. I'm talking about
I don't know
plausible
how you could.
deniability.
How could you covertly go and inspect a site that you're gonna have to like dig out and do all this stuff to? Like, I don't. There's no
No,
way you
you
can do
let
it
them do that.
covertly.
No, you let them do that. So ideally, what would happen is as they start to try to rebuild that infrastructure when it comes down to their nuclear sites, like we're flying over. Doesn't matter. We're flying over doing reconnaissance on them just because we bombed y'all. You know what I'm saying? And whether we can confirm or not confirm, we need to know 100% sure how far we destroyed or how deep we got into these bunkers or whatever into the rock or whatever it is, right? So as we're flying over, we're gonna start seeing work, and once work gets done, then we quote covertly put boots on ground and we find it. We just watch. You know what I mean? It's a watching thing. Just now, are we gonna do that from the air or are we gonna do that with boots on the ground? I don't think we need to put boots on the ground for anything. Because ideally we already showed our
Our
our superiority when it comes down to destroying y'all. If we really want to, like you said, we could take out y'all who y'all need to be. We could take out y'all head shit if we need to. Um, we don't feel like we need to. We feel like we can conversate and communicate and figure out a different way because maybe your successors might be mad at the way we do this, and now it creates a real problem that we
right.
really got to address. So we'll try to go about it the best way we know how. But when I was referring to putting boots on the ground, I was meaning covertly in a degree of you the chances of us running into somebody that's going to be a problem is highly unlikely because we're intermingling with the people, not necessarily intermingling, but we have enough information to know how to dress like and act like the people that's in the deserts to watch and see enough. We got enough guys that can enough information and enough guys that we can put on ground that has enough experience to intermingle amongst the people and know how to get this information and back to Washington or whatever the case may be. That's all I meant by that. But
Yeah.
uh, I don't really see a reason to put boots on ground in Iran at all, for nothing. Even with them shooting bombs like they did, like I said, they shot a plethora, as they would say, of missiles.
Yeah, it was a lot. A cornucopia, some might even say.
Yeah. Do you think they was lying about their arsenal?
All right, what do they say about the arsenal, like exactly, or
I'm saying
roughly?
like the number of missiles because people are judging their missile usage, and then their what they don't have, or excuse me, what they have in storage based off of some type of number. I
Yeah,
don't have the exact number. I know the exact number, but
nah, they're
they're
based
basing
off
that off of the
they're based off like Pentagon reports, ones that weren't leaked and actually had confidential, or actually had confidence in them. But like I said, the last time I heard that they were down to like only 1,400 missiles. Um, so they definitely, I mean, they were shooting thousands of them at Israel, for a while.
yeah,
Plus all the missiles that they've given to all their proxies and stuff like that. So I mean, it only stands to reason that they don't have a lot left, especially when you think about for the last like 20 years we've had all these sanctions on them to because they don't, this is get back to who are we to tell a country what they're able to do. And I get it, but if you're going to be that type of country and you want to live in this type of world, then yeah, you're going to have to follow the rules. And if you don't like them, you don't have to follow the rules. You just don't know how long it's going to work out for you. But I don't know. You tell them like, hey, these are the rules you got to follow, and then they don't. So then you put a sanction on them. And you're like, okay, cool. We're not gonna buy X, Y, and Z from you, or you have to pay X amount for this, or whatever. And then you have different presidents over the years that have like released billions of dollars to them, and so it's just I don't know the whole system and the way we've been treating it because our presidents are so back and forth to an extreme anymore. Like I don't know.
yeah,
I feel like that also has a lot to do with it too, because the way Trump's handling it is a night and day difference from the way Biden handled it versus Trump in 2016 versus Obama, and versus George Bush when really all the nuclear stuff really started getting um, like a worry, I
brought
guess
up.
you could say. Although Israel's been talking about it for decades, like since the 80s or 90s, they've been talking about Israel or Iran having a weapon. Um, but it just
Yeah,
as Israel, I know, like I said earlier, I know a lot of people hate Israel, and I I don't get it.
that's
I
what
was gonna say I get it, but
that's
I
what we
don't.
need to dig into. There's a lot of
Um,
hate towards them guys.
yeah, and
Them,
but ever since they've been there, I know a lot of people are like, oh, it wasn't their land. Like you say that, but it was there before Islam was even created. Like there was Jewish people there, so they were definitely the first people there. And then ever since they've been there, it was back in 1948. They had an agreement where Israel, uh, basically half of it would go to the Arabs and half of it would go to Israelites, and basically the Arabs were like, no, like you can't be here at all. And as soon as that happened, they launched the what was it, the 6 Day War? I think that's actually later. Um, but it's that first war where like four or five different countries attack them, and then that just keeps happening over and over, where you just have all these countries going after Israel. And I feel like a lot of people are only looking at it from one side because a lot of people just don't know the full history of it. And there's a certain person that me and you both know, and I'm not gonna say the person's name, but I know you know exactly who I'm talking about, who definitely doesn't know everything, but likes to act like they do and misses huge issues, that makes their point kind of invalid or at least questionable. But they'll never entertain that stuff because it just goes against what they think. So it's like, no, I'm not even gonna hear that. Doesn't
I'll say
matter.
this. I'll say this. If uh when when you ground yourself in a different source of information, or excuse me, when you ground yourself in a different source, or a different walk of life, uh, it really doesn't even matter the history of right and wrong. It's just right and wrong. You know what I mean? And when you see things in a certain light, you can't you whether you choose to, or you just, well, I don't know what to call it, blind eye, turn the blind eye, whatever it is. Like, I think certain people look at certain things in a certain light because of the way they live. And if you're living a certain type of lifestyle, uh you're going to be told certain information, and that certain information may dictate how you see things. I'm not going to necessarily say people don't go and do the research to find out why or how or anything like that, but I'll say this: anything that you want to believe in the world, there's something out there to tell you that you're right. And if you're searching for that information, you'll find it.
You're gonna find it.
But if you're looking at things objectively, you may see things in a different light that you might not have seen if you were looking at it just from a I want to believe this type of point of view, right? Um, I'm never going to tell anybody they're wrong for what they believe, how they feel. Um, Even when it comes down to information, like, what you think that could be wrong because you're basing it off of somebody else's past experience, whether it's a book that was written, um documents that were artifact, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, however you getting this information, you didn't live it, you didn't
Yeah.
walk it. The guy that did walk that, he's not even alive to tell you, yeah, hell yeah, them Jews was, you know what I mean, or nothing like that. Like, they can't. There's nothing that anybody can tell you. So, all we have is however far you can go back, and from my understanding, the Sumerian text is the oldest documented information that we have to put out. Um, and I'm not here to tell people how or what they should believe or what they shouldn't think or how they should think or whatever like that.
I'm not
You
telling you.
got different, you got Torahs, you got the Torah, you got the Bible, you got the Quran, you got different books that's gonna give you information about how to live and past information about what was going on. Um, I just say this: wrong is wrong and right is right. I don't give a goddamn who's doing it. Wrong is wrong. We all know it's wrong. We all know it's right. I don't think kids should be getting murdered and killed, bombed, blown up at any point in life, or any point, or walking, like, anything. I don't think that there's a situation where a kid should die because they got blown up. I don't think that. But I will say this also, and before we get out of here, I will say this: um, a child is subject to the sins of their parents, and that's a disgusting fact of life. But that's the true part about it. So, respectfully, as many kids lose their life on the Israel side, as many kids lose their life on the Iran side, as many kids lose their life on the Gaza Strip side. Doesn't matter. They're losing their life and their children. But we are not the people to dictate and choose who loses their life or how these guys or these kids or these families or these people are going to pay for the sins of their fathers. Like a lot of people do wicked stuff in the world on both sides. Hamas, Israel, a lot of things wickedly happen on both sides of of the playing field.
Yeah.
And some of these children, that's because that's all I really give a fuck about, right? You 21 years old, you make a decision to fight for a country and you die, so be it. Respectfully, respectfully. Same thing with Russia and Ukraine. Like people are choosing to go out there and make a decision, whether it's financial, you're fighting for your country, you believe it, whatever it is. Like you're an adult. We're talking about children that are laying in their bed, children that are just chilling, children that are sick in the hospital, getting blown the fuck up, dying, losing their life, can't even experience 15 years old, 12 years old, 10 years old, 9 years old. On both sides, all sides of of this playing field. Um, that's what I have a problem with more than anything. Uh, and you respectfully, you cannot choose and dictate how somebody's sins are going to get played out against their family. Sometimes it's you that lose your life. Sometimes it's you and your kids that lose their life. Sometimes it's your whole family. Sometimes it's your whole country that get evaporated and you get to skate out of there. But you know that you had something to do with that.
Yeah.
I'll say that that's all I'll say to that. But you got anything before we get out of here, man?
Nah, man. Shit, just same old. KBA Works. If y'all ever have some time, make sure to check it out. Trying to do some new shit. And then trying to get in. They got some different flea markets and shit that been popping up around here that I've been thinking about trying to make a bunch of shit and go to see how that works out. So
Oh, for sure. They
yeah,
got one. Oh, I talked to you, but yeah, yeah, for sure. They got a few of them. I
but yeah,
seen one that was like they be on Facebook heavy. I'll
yeah,
tell you about it.
yeah. But yeah, other than that, man, it's same old, same old. I've been sick for the last 3 4 days. It's finally starting to feel a little bit better. So I figured, so we are supposed to do this the other day, right?
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so my bad. But either way, glad we could talk about it though. You knew how to. You were like, I was gonna be politics though, and I was like, God damn it, I'll be
Yeah. God damn it. Hey, well, shouts out to Corey KBA Works. Man, go check him out. Got a lot of good stuff over there. Custom work if you need that. Might have some different ideas that if you got some ideas that you could throw to him, he might be able to work it out for you. Just go holler at him, man. See what it get done. It's woodworking and stuff like that. Not necessarily woodworking, but uh, that's a big part of it. So if you want to get some custom work done for birthdays, uh, I would say Mother's Day, that's past, Father's Day past, Christmas, Halloween, thick ass Pokemon, whatever, it's all out there. Hey, holla at my boy at KBA Works. We'll say this. Shouts out to my daughter, Zay. I love you. Happy birthday. Her
there.
birthday's tomorrow. Yeah. So
Hell yeah.
happy birthday, girl. I love you. I love all my kids, but happy birthday to her. So
Happy
I love you,
belated.
girl. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in, appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate Corey, my boy, for coming on. Uh Peace and love to everybody, man. That's what we push over here. Um, yeah. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for watching. It's Bros Talk. We're out of here.
Chill.
I don't know how to end this. Jesus.